months ago that I stood in this very place along with some of my sisters of suffrage of this area, where we were reminding those in attendance about the trials and the struggles that we had traveled, but we were pushing the point that we had hopes for our future in women's rights. Never in my lifetime would I have felt that I even dreamed or thought that I would be here at an occasion such as this. But granted, and be it known, I am here, and I will return. So let me tell you about the power of a woman's choice. Recognizing that you always have the power to choose is not just emancipating, but it's God-given. It means you get to decide where you want to go in life. It means you can choose what work you want to do that matters to you. It means you can choose and make the choices that you want to make to bring forth your own incredible human potential, to shape and mold and to affect the change you want to see in your homes, on your jobs, and in this government of today. Now, some of the established, we're going to call them supervisors of today, the media and people of note, may want to make you believe that a woman's right to choice is just single-faceted. Oh, but that's a mistake on today. We are not singular, but we are many. It makes me angry because the total sum of who I am, of who you are as a woman, it cannot be limited just to what I choose, and I emphasize choose to do with my womb, because it's my choice. Women, I need you to hear me on today. We have proven our talents, our intelligence, and our worth time and time again beyond all prescribed norms. In every field of influence, we decide to give our time to, from the highest declared courts of the land and houses, or the medical field, science field, whatever field we choose to go into. We have chosen. We make that choice, and we stand by our choice. Now we have those of us that sometimes alone, and then sometimes with some beautiful, lovely suffragettes that I see here on today. We chose to go through the joys and the sorrow of raising some of the greatest leaders and influencers, whether world-renowned or community heroic, of our history, of our present, but right now our present going into our future. There are those that we taught to stand up in times of difficulty, to reach out to their fellow sisters and brothers when things were dreary, but to fight tooth and nail when it comes down to wanting to make a difference for the just cause of right. Now it is time for us, once again, to exercise those lessons that we may have taught. Not to stand behind, but to join in the battle, to flex the strength we know that we have. The strength that we have taught to fight, not just to fight, but to stand up for every just cause. And that just cause on today is ourselves. Dare I say, as I look out over the crowd today, we have come to a time today that some of us may have been before. Others may be new to the field, but it's not unfamiliar ground. No, we're at a place right now where I've heard it said where the rubber meets the road. We're at a place in history where we as women must summon our superpower of sisterhood. For there is nothing as strong as she. Where we once again must join together, not just hand in hand and heart to heart, but our hands lifted in prayer for the strength and the fortitude and, oh yes, the attitude to take back everything anybody think they're going to try to steal from us. This power to choose you possess. I need you to know that each moment in life will present you with a choice. Each moment. You can either move out of your comfort zone and step into growth or backward into safety. We are presented once again, ladies, with a challenge. But have it be known that a challenge is the only way forward. And I believe we're up for the task. ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what a ship was built for. A woman at home may be safe, but granted, that's simply what not we were built for. I don't know about you, but on Today Women, I refuse to sit quietly.
Yes.
But I yet, looking around in the crowd, I see some people that I can plan strategically with.
Yes.
What we're going to do is, we're not just going to stand by the wayside, but we at this point in time in history plan to get into some good trouble. And to make the choice to let my voice be heard with the vote, even in this election year. By the looks of things on the day, ladies and gentlemen, we are not alone, but we are many voices with many hands, with many hearts, and those things that we triumph to do, to accomplish, that we will do. Because on today, I am a woman.
Yes.
It is my choice,
yes,
and I choose on today.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. Please help me welcome Pat Beerhalter.
So I did up my charts, I had my plan. My background is a teacher for 30-some years. You all know the hours you spent doing good for kids. And then this morning there are some strange things happening. And so I feel like I need to make a bit of a change. My charts had to do with educating a little bit about the Griswold versus Connecticut decision, which gave the basis for your privacy. And it talked about the penumbra of implied rights in the Constitution, which is an issue for people who don't believe in your personal rights, in particular your right to have autonomy over your body and the privacy of your home and your property. So I thought I would share with you a little story that about my mother. My mother came to America as a young married woman. My dad was an American citizen. His parents came here because in Italy there was not the prospect to be able to feed your family, and rather than see your kids starve, they made their arrangements and they came to America, and they came to Pennsylvania. So my father was born in Pennsylvania at 3 years old. He went back. His father died when he was 7, and he was raised by his single mother and his older siblings. My mother met him after the war. They dated, they married, he came to America, and she came later, pregnant with me. So I have Italian roots, honest to God, Italian roots. But I am an American. My mother loved America. She would not go back to any place else. My father was not the most dependable person. You love your parents on and off, you love them for whoever they are, but they're not always the most mature. And he was very bad. He had an addiction, a gambling addiction. And so my mother, who did not speak the language, who did not have a job, did not have economic security, did not have a support network here, none of her family, was left with whatever was left over after he spent overnights gambling. And my mother told me after I grew, she would tell us stories, and she would tell me the house that they rented, that they lived in, had no heat, no hot water, the windows had no locks, and they lived near railroad tracks. And so when the trains would go by, the windows would rattle. She had no iPhone to call anyone, and it was so stressful that it affected her health. As any mother's health would be affected if you are trying to raise kids you don't have the financial means, you don't have a support network, and you live in fear. And she said she would bundle us up under blankets and she would just shiver. And she would say, oh my God, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. And I would lay next to her and cry and say, Mommy, please don't die. Mommy, please don't die. I don't think I am the only child who ever feared the loss of a parent and felt the insecurity, economic insecurity. And so, even though we say pro-choice and we believe in our autonomy, we do believe that what we support is pro-birth. And I have spent my life teaching, working with kids, donating to programs, giving my time. How many of you have done any of those things? How many of you have done any of those things? If you have, we are in agreement that pro-birth is what we need to support. A woman who chooses to have an abortion, it is her last resort. It is not a fun choice. It is personal. It is agonizing. It is difficult. And it is insulting to women to think otherwise. If you are pro-birth, there are lots of ways that you can be helpful. Carrying a sign has very little value. There is significant value in dollars. And I will share with you that one of the things that I found in my research, because ever since I was asked to do this week, I've been reading like mad, there has been $40 million donated to anti-abortion groups, in particular, a group called Susan B. Anthony. You would think it was our hero. However, they are anti-abortion. And they say that one article that was in one of her papers proved that she was anti-abortion. I say this to you because when you donate, which is one of the things that you can do to help women who are going to still make the choice, you can donate to the different groups and the different resources that they're going to need. Statistics are studied, and if you look to your right, look to your left, statistics say that 1 in 4 women have had an abortion or know someone who has had an abortion. So we are among you. I pretty much didn't do what I had finished, had worked on doing. But I do feel passionately about pro-birth. And I do feel passionately that we need to give until it hurts. Give to programs and things that lift kids out of poverty. And we do that through our government. President Biden tried to do that with the child tax credit. It was not re-upped, but it helped kids. The numbers show that it made a difference. You can guess who voted against it. Perhaps we'll see it again, but that's a really important way to combat poverty, is to have a strong social safety net. A sign does not make a strong social safety net. It may make a momentary comment, but life is more than a moment. I want to finish by just sharing one of these. So, there's a Guttmacher Institute. It studies women's health. 23 states have laws in place to limit abortion, including 13 that have trigger bans in place that are designed to almost immediately enact near total bans on abortion if Roe is struck down. Those are real live women out there that are still going to be making that choice. Abortion existed before Roe. It will exist after. Women need to have safe health choice when it comes to their body. A small comment, how will this work? No one has said how it's going to work when you go to bed one night and you had planned to take certain action to help yourself. What happens when tomorrow you wake up and you can't cross state borders, or you'll get arrested, or no one can talk to you about your problem, you can't get any counseling? Journalists for Business Insider found 84% of the state lawmakers who have sponsored trigger laws are men. Sorry, guys. 5 states had no women sponsors for trigger laws. All but one of 13 governors who have signed trigger laws are men. 91% of the senators who confirmed the anti-abortion majority on the Supreme Court are men. These men are overwhelmingly Republican. All of the anti-abortion justices were nominated by Republicans. And 94% of the senators who voted to confirm the anti-abortion justices were Republicans. And we won't even talk about the process of appointing justices and how it is really a fake process. How things have been politicized and how the institutions of our government are slowly being broken one after the other. However, we are women. We've been through a hell of a lot, and we are not giving up. Not now. One of the things that I found in researching is there's a 10-year study, a book that has come out, and it's called the Turnaway Study. And it has studied 1,000 women over 10 years. Those who were had access to an abortion and those who were denied, and how it affected their lives. I have read the reviews about it, and a Google comment was, if you don't read any other book, read this one. Your democracy depends on it.
Give us the name.
And I'm going to probably bring this to our club meeting because I ordered the book.
What's it called?
I'm sorry, it's called The Turnaway Study, and it's by Diana Green Foster, PhD.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Things have kind of settled down, and I'm so happy. So I'm going to scream at you again.
Okay.
Where at? Oh, I thought somebody was talking to me. So I am your third speaker, but before I start, I want to say, okay. I want to thank everybody who helped put this event on today. I want to thank the Villages Democratic Club and all of the volunteers who stepped forward to make this happen. You know, you keep hearing it takes a village. I'm here to tell you, it always takes a village. So thank you all very much. When we're done, we'll have some music. We will have some more music, and we're just going to walk around the square until everybody's tired and you just want to go home. How's that? So, how many of you, by show of hands, have read, I believe it's this 98-page draft majority report? How many of you have read it? Well, join the crowd. I hadn't read it either until I found out I was going to be speaking today, and I really wanted to bring out some of the key points that spoke to me and share them with you. Because Justice Alito, in this draft of majority opinion, wrote, "We hold that Roe and Casey must be overturned." He leaves no doubt. The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly provided by any constitutional provision, including the one...
Amendment 9 protects us.
Okay, so, including the one which defenders of Roe and Casey chiefly rely, which is the due process clause of the 14th Amendment. Now, one of the things that Justice Alito, these are not his comments, but these are comments that he got from other people
The dissenters.
in defense of overturning Roe and Casey. So remember, these are not the justices talking. I don't know who these people are that they got this information from. Here. Well, I'm pretty ancient, so here we go. Attitudes about pregnancy and unmarried women have changed drastically. Number one. So this is the reason why these people believe we should overturn Roe. Federal and state laws ban discrimination on the basis of pregnancy. Okay. So this is a good one. Leave for pregnancy and childbirth is now guaranteed by law. Who knows this law? I don't know this law. So he does say in many cases. It's like nobody I know. I did 30 years in the Air Force. The Air Force had...
serving. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And when I came into the Air Force, if you were pregnant, you were out.
That's right. Same thing with teachers.
Well, and that's true. Not the guy that got you pregnant. He can stay forever.
Ooh.
So, I really am losing my mind up here. So he also quotes the cost of medical care. So this is a good one. The cost of medical care associated with pregnancies are covered by insurance or government assistance. So by all means, let's make these women have these babies so they can go on government assistance. That's a great program. So here's another great one. States have increasingly adopted safe haven laws, which generally allow women to drop babies off anonymously. So let's make these women have these babies so they can take a goddamn fire station. So I'm going to skip some pages here. Okay. So I was watching I've had this ready. Well, I was changing it at 8 o'clock this morning, but I wrote this over the last few days. And last night I was on MSNBC, and I couldn't believe it. The woman who was talking referenced the opinion and footnote 46. I just happen to have footnote 46 here. It blew me away. So footnote 46 is based on a study done by the CDC in 2008. So footnote 46 says, nearly 1 million women were seeking to adopt children in 2002. They were in demand of a child. In other words, these women wanted babies. Whereas the domestic supply of infants relinquished at birth or within the first month of life and available to be adopted have become virtually non-existent. So what does that tell you?
They're wanted.
So Alito spent 13 pages of this opinion talking about the states who had criminal abortion laws back in 1868. As a matter of fact, he went so far back, he even went back to the 13th century. It's like, how far do you have to go? And so he writes.
He does vote.
The inescapable, because it really is inescapable, conclusion is that a right to abortion is not deeply rooted in the nation's history and traditions. On the contrary, an unbroken tradition of prohibiting abortion on pain of criminal punishment persisted from the earliest days of common law until 1973. So he spends all this time about criminalizing how abortions were criminalized. So if you go back through and you look at the states, the laws that were in place, So depending on what state you lived in, and we know how this works, it works this way for education with zip codes. So depending on what state you lived in, you could be put in prison for as little as 1 month to as much as 5, 7, 10, or 21 years in prison. That's what they're looking at. That's the, I don't know, I'm not a Supreme Court justice, I'm not a lawyer, but to me that tells me we're in trouble.
Yes, we are.
So, I want you to imagine, I want you to, you don't have to close your eyes, but if you need to close your eyes, do so. I want you to imagine that you or someone you know is pregnant. She's in the hospital in excruciating pain. She knows that she is absolutely going to die. She knows she's going to die. She knows, without a shadow of a doubt, that there is somebody in that hospital who can save her life. She knows this. But she also knows that she is going to die anyway, because the state in which she lives will not allow anybody to take the necessary action to save her life. This is what we're looking at. Pat talked about these trigger laws. It is going to happen. By God, we have to stand up and fight back. How much time do I have? Hold on.
As much as you want.
I got time to do this. So Alito also wrote, and it's a little long, but I don't want to mix his words up. I want you to know these are his words. Our decision returns the issue of abortions to those legislative bodies and allow women on both sides of the abortion issue to seek to affect the legislative process by influencing the public opinion, lobbying legislators, voting and running for office. So this is their solution. So I'm here to tell you, every one of us, we must go out and talk to our daughters, our granddaughters, our sons, our husbands, our friends. They have to know what this is going to mean, because many of them have never lived in a time when abortion was banned. They don't have any clue. And the young women, they're working, they're busy raising their families that they have chosen to have, and it's getting past them. So I implore you, please go out there, spread the word. We have to do this. It's up to us. I didn't write this line, but the person who wrote it is probably on the plaza, so I will thank them in advance, but I'm not going to recognize them. Our destiny, our children's destiny is at risk, and we must do everything to ensure that destiny. So thank you very much. That concludes the program, the forming program. We cut out some of it to get you away from the heat. We're going to play some music. If you want to go march, just line up and go for it. Thank you.